box. You opened it. We came.
It's just a puzzle box!
Oh no. It is a means to summon us.
Who are you?
What makes a horror movie one of the scariest of its kind? They've always relied on the ability to frighten or disturb us, but what really gives that sense of panic? It hasn't changed much over the years. A strange sound on the other side of the street? A dark figure in the distance? Or feeling that something bad is going to happen when someone opens a door? The horror genre has managed to evolve over the years while keeping true to its terrifying principles. Cold sweats, nervous laughter, rigid muscles, and drowned screams are some of the effects that horror films can cause. And although we really don't know why, many of us love to experience fear in a movie theater. If you want to be scared and at the same time enjoy a good horror movie, stay with us and check out our list of the top 10 scariest horror movies of all time. How much do you know about movies? Let's test your knowledge with a quick trivia question. The serial killer Ed Gein inspired 3 major horror films. Can you guess which ones? Was it Scream, Psychosis, and Halloween? Or Psychosis, The Silence of the Lambs, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Or A Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, and Friday the 13th? If you want to know the answer, stay with us, subscribe to our channel, and ring that bell. Let's get started, or rather, let's get scary. Number 10. The Thing. Isolation, alienation, and suspicion are the themes in the cult classic The Thing. Filled with excellent performances and even better monstrous effects, the film focuses on a creature that can replicate any living being. Because of this, a team of researchers quickly learns that any of their friends could be an alien killer. Number 9. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Brutal, savage, and gruesome, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre has not only generated endless remakes and sequels, but is also known for being the clearest and most faithful representation of the relentless horror that reigned during the 70s. Here, at the height of the Vietnam War era, a group of young hippies travel through Texas and are attacked by a family of cannibals. Undoubtedly, it's one of the purest examples of horror cinema. Number 8. Rosemary's Baby. Who doesn't get chills at the sight of Rosemary's horrified face when she sees her baby? With an ending as surprising as it is twisted, Rosemary's Baby is one of the highest praised horror movies of all time. During its little more than 2 hours of duration, this Roman Polanski classic enters the mind of Rosemary Woodhouse to explore her most earthly fears arising from her pregnancy. Number 7. Night of the Living Dead. Known for being one of the most influential horror films of all time, not only for its terrifying scenes but also for giving life to what we know today as the modern zombie, the one who walks slowly and tirelessly, moved by the hunger for human flesh. With this important classic, Romero created a simple premise: outrun zombies, which influenced countless generations of filmmakers, feeding a pattern that continues today in the world of cinema. Number 6. The Ring. Although many people only remember the remake made in the United States, the truth is that its original version helped introduce a transition from slasher movies and monsters to a more psychological approach, based on suspense and anticipation rather than fear to unforeseen shocks. Disturbing, strange images and a creature capable of coming out of your TV all make this film one of the most diabolically entertaining films from Japan. Number 5. Psycho. Innovative in almost every aspect, Alfred Hitchcock began the trend of tormenting one of the stars of the film in this horror classic. In Psycho, Hitchcock laid the foundations of the slasher and shattered the nerves of the public of the early 60s with one of the most celebrated twists in film history. Number 4. Halloween. Filmed in about 20 days and with little resources, John Howard Carpenter revolutionized terror movies with this cult classic. As terrifying and captivating today as he was 40 years ago, Michael Myers is the reincarnation of the purest evil that only seeks to terrorize, torture, and murder his victims. Number 3. The Shining. A masterpiece of psychological terror, The Shining tells the story of an alcoholic writer who, after accepting a job as a caretaker at a luxury hotel, starts losing his mind and becomes a maniacal killer. This film is a technical feat, formal and conceptual, that immerses you in the impossible corridors and rooms of the Overlook Hotel, while inviting you to lose your head to the deranged Jack Torrance in a nightmare on the highest level. Number 2. The Exorcist. No matter how many years pass by, this wonder made by William Friedkin continues to be as chilling as it was when it was first released. Thanks to his wonderful direction, a spooky sound design, and of course, Linda Blair's intense role as Regan MacNeil. Although there are still debates about whether or not it's the best horror film in history, what we can say is that this is undoubtedly a legend among horror movies. Do you want to know the answer to our trivia? Let's take a look before we get to number 1 on our list. The serial killer Ed Gein inspired 3 major horror films. Are they Scream, Psychosis, and Halloween? or Psychosis, The Silence of the Lambs, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or A Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, and Friday the 13th? The answer is Psychosis, The Silence of the Lambs, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. At the end of the 50s lived a solitary man dominated by his deceased possessive mother. His name was Ed Gein, and he committed a series of cruel murders. His story inspired some of the most iconic thrillers of all time: Psychosis, The Silence of the Lambs, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Did you guess the answer? Let us know in the comments below. Now let's get back to our countdown. Our number 1 scariest horror film is The Omen. Children have always been closely linked to horror films, but rarely as iconically and imperishably as in The Omen. With an outstanding direction from the great Richard Donner, a brilliant main performance by Gregory Peck, and one of the best soundtracks of the genre by Jerry Goldsmith, Damien's story deserves first place on our list. We're almost done, but before we leave, here are some highlights from some other iconic horror films.
You let him drown. You never paid any attention. Look what you did to him. Look, Mama.
I don't want to stay with you, Mama.
Look, I'll answer the door and I'll tell him that you're sick. I'll tell him that you changed your mind.
Sit down and be quiet!
Casper, that's a wrap.
Randy, what the hell are you doing?
That's all for our top 10 countdown. We hope you liked it. Don't forget to comment below, subscribe to our channel, and leave us a like. We publish videos several times a week, so ring that bell to be notified when we post new content.